Yes. So passion for Punchlist. You're probably like, what? By show of hands here, looking at this picture here, does this bring back any PTSD for anybody? Who here has worked on Punchlist throughout their career or throughout any show of hands? Okay, now, has anyone really enjoyed their experience? Truthfully, and raise your hand if you have with it. Who here has really kind of not enjoyed their Punchlist experience? Raise your hand. If you had to sum up in one word, let's throw them out there. What do you got? Let's hear them.
Sucks.
Okay, there you go. There's one part. Perfect. What else we got?
Boring.
Boring. Okay.
Never ending.
Say that again.
Never ending.
Never ending. Okay, so I can relate to you. So I had to, throughout the past, so I interned with Turner Construction over the past 4 summers, and on 3 of the 4 projects I worked on, they all happened to be during the closeout phase. And this is why I was like, why is the closeout phase? Why is Punchlist so, I don't want to say it's very meaningful, but why is it so kind of mundane and kind of boring? Where's the passion in it, right? And that's where the question came from. And kind of give you an idea, and I had a great opportunity to work on amazing projects. My first internship in the field was at Lincoln Financial Fuel. And it was a transition, when I worked on it, I got there during the work to complete list, transitioning into the punch list. And now this is an incredible experience. But once it was in the punch list phase, all the passion just disappeared. Where did it go? And the question is why? This is such an incredible experience. Why is there passion? And you see it amongst the work, the employees. It's just it's a very contagious type of feeling. No one wants to be there. It's not. And the big reason, and we'll kind of get into it in a second, is you kind of lose a sense of that purpose, right? The other project I worked on was the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. $450 million project, 12 stories, massive project out in Philadelphia. And this project, it's really easy to see the purpose in it. It's a children's hospital, right? And if you think about one of the most important parts, aside from the structure, making sure it's safe, is punch list. There's gonna be patients, there's gonna be children, there's gonna be families utilizing this space. And punch list, all those items on the punch list is what they're gonna see. But even having that in the back of your mind, it still wasn't enough for people to be motivated and bring their passion every day. And it's really interesting to me too, because during the middle phase of a project where erection's going up, steel's going up, that's when it's really busy. You're working way more than 40 hours a week. You have all this energy, and routine is really not there, right? When you get to a project now in the punch list phase, you're at more of a routine. You kind of go through your punch list item, it's 5 p.m., time to leave, I'll come back and see if I get more items done tomorrow. And you're like, let's see if the subcontractors can do it. But this subcontractor doesn't want to do it. What do I do? This, that, the other thing. Does it sound familiar to some people out there? Yeah. And the third project I worked on, really interesting. This was actually in Mexico City this past summer. Toward BBVA Bancomer out in Mexico City. And when it was being built, it was the largest skyscraper in Mexico City at the time. Mexico City, if you guys know, it's the second largest city in the world. And I was wondering, okay, I'm going to go in an open mind and kind of see what the punches is going to be like during this project. Same thing, different country, but the same thing. A lot of the words you guys described it was like that too. And I felt a lot, and I was wondering why, all my internship experiences, 3 of them were at the punch list. And I was kind of reflecting on a lot of my college experiences throughout the year to kind of, how can we make punch list phase a little more passionate, a little more engaging, a little more fulfilling. And I kind of relied back on a few service experiences I had throughout my time here at Penn State. So I had the great, fortune and pleasure of working with Bridges to Prosperity throughout the past 4 years at Penn State. And for you who do not know, Bridges to Prosperity is a national nonprofit organization with student chapters across the country and actually across the world too. And the whole mission of Bridges to Prosperity is to, provide safe access to essential needs for communities abroad. Typically during the rainy season, for example, their local infrastructure kind of fails and they need these pedestrian footbridges to access essential needs, such as healthcare, economics, and education opportunities, things that we like to take for granted. And I'll tie back the comparison in a second, just to point out, the work to build these bridges was very, very tough. There was no iPads, there was no computers, there was no spreadsheets. It was, this is a raw construction. This is what it looked like when we got there. But to kind of give you an idea of the hard labor that went into it, which was really mundane. And someone mentioned, punches suck. And let me tell you, all this wood here had to be carried out of the forest miles. I mean, by hand, and to kind of give you a picture, all this wood, and this was a picture of me, but literally walking more than a mile with it, and really tough work. And, somehow I found a way to enjoy it, obviously, which I'll get to in a second. But again, if you keep in mind, you're walking around the site with an iPad or with a punch list, all you have to do is just see if something's done. Is it not done? Email subcontractor. Oh, easy, you're done. But something like this, a lot of work, a lot of grit that goes into it. Another example. So this is would be the pre-approach ramp for one of these bridges, so you get access to the bridge and cross it. And this is what the finished product looks like. So within all of this, there's all loose fill rock, stones. And where these stones come from, they come from the river. Every single stone is carried out of the river, and I'm telling you, so much stone is used that you end up having to travel like 30-minute walks so we get more stone. And one by one, it's all brought into big piles like this. And let me tell you, it's again, hopefully I'm kind of instilling this idea of like, this is a lot of work, this isn't easy, there's no dump trucks. Lucky, sometimes someone from the community can have a pickup truck and they'll come, they'll save the day, but sometimes you'll be spending 2 weeks. I mean, it took us about like half a week just to create a pile like that. And it doesn't look like a lot, but it was a lot of effort. And another thing that bringing the next too, here in the States we got, cement trucks, concrete trucks. All the concrete there was mixed on site, all the sand had to be sifted by hand. And I kind of give you an idea of how concrete is mixed out in Panama or like abroad. It starts on the ground. You mix your sand and cement, you kind of mix it up, turn up, then you throw your gravel on, still hand mixing it. And this is, I would say, the amount of pour, this is probably 7 cubic yards of concrete that we're mixing here. This was probably the first batch leading up to 7, so like we had to do a few of these batches in order to do 7 cubic yards of pour for an anchor within 1 day. A lot of work, as you kind of see, And I kind of bring it to back because at the end of so this, to point this out, so this is kind of what like lunch looks like. You're shot and exhausted. But at the end of the day, there's so much purpose that's seen, and that's the finished product. So no matter how many days you have like this after the workday, your passion for it kind of comes right back because that it's providing really important needs for people that really need it, right? So now how is it compared? So I was wondering, why work on the pedestrian footbridges was mundane. It was tough. It was the same thing. It was a lot of physical labor. Not every day you would kind of see your work. You wouldn't see the end result in a day because you could carry rocks for a whole week and maybe have a little pile and it won't even do much for you. Whereas you look at a punch list now on a great project like this, there's so much purpose there. It's for a children's hospital, right? And and you're spending walking around all day in air conditioning, iPad, spreadsheet. Life is great here. This never happened to me when I was on this project, but I gotta ask why. The question is, why was there such a lack of passion and enthusiasm? Where on the project on left, obviously, in Panama, there's so much of it. So this led me to do a lot of research throughout the past few years. And when I kind of did first, starting last summer actually, when I was out in Mexico, because that was there was a skyscraper I was working on in Mexico City. I was like, all right, there's gotta be some ways to kind of make this somewhat type of exciting. So I started with some literature research. And kind of did some research on project closeout, product relationships, teamwork, all these different ideas of like how could we kind of like develop some solutions to the punch list and kind of make that specific part of the project a little more exciting. And I also created a Google form that I sent out to probably one of the forms had over like 86 responses and the other one had over 30. One was sent out to all industries because I kind of see a relation between construction punch lists and overall engaging passion in the workforce too. And at the end of the day, between the forms and the literature research, a lot of the ideas and solutions that I put into my report were kind of to no surprise, having daily huddle meetings, not stopping daily huddle meetings once it gets to punch lists. Typically on punch lists, you kind of stop with the daily huddles because it's not as active and fast paced. You kind of just go with the flow, utilize technology. But a lot of this stuff has been around for ages. If you Google like how to make punch lists better, you'll probably find it. So I reflected back again on my experiences with Bridges to Prosperity and all my experiences with Turner, and how do you kind of develop not just a passion for punch list, but more so like a passion with a purpose, right? And I like to call this the passion with purpose model. And the whole idea of it, let's back up for a second. Let's think of what passion is, right? I kind of like to visualize it as like a soul set on fire. So take that image and set it in your mind as like your soul set on fire, right? And if you look here, the innermost part of one's soul is like their intellect, will, and emotions. And backing up real quick, it's inspire, empower, and encourage. Those are like the pathways to it in order to ignite this soul on fire, right? And keep in mind again, so the innermost level is your intellect, will, and emotions. Now, how do you access it? It's really hard to get there, right? And I'm going to tie this back in a second, just to follow along with me. And then and if you branch out a little more, you have mind, body, and heart, and they're all related, right? So you have your mind's related to your intellect, your body's related to your will, and your heart's related to your emotions. Branch out one more time, you have inspire, empower, and encourage. All three are pathways to passion, I would say, with a purpose, right? And if you really want to ignite that fuel within someone, especially during punches, for example. It comes down to relationships and how you inspire someone, empower someone, and encourage someone. Because if you do those three things for someone, you kind of start opening up the gateways for someone to kind of feel a sense of purpose within a passion. Because if you truly want someone to be passionate about something, you want to fuel it with a purpose. And it kind of stems down during building relationships, giving and receiving. If you really want to get empowerment, inspiration, and encouragement from someone, you really got to give it to someone first as well. And that's where it really comes down to building relationships on a job site. If you're on a punch, just think about it. Everyone's just not happy. Everyone's just exhausted. Everyone just wants to be done and move on to the next thing. But if you take that opportunity to cherish the relationships that you had throughout the project, you could do those three things of inspiring someone, empowering someone, and encouraging someone. So if you really want to have that impact on someone's life, you really need to develop a relationship with that person. And it's really tough during punches because a lot of the leaders on the project are starting to get transitioned to other projects. A lot of people have been around each other too much. But if individuals on a job could really stay grounded in their relationships, they could do those three things for each other. And I believe that if the individual's on a job site, regardless of all the different procedures and everything in place, if people just focus on serving others, rather than if people kind of bring service aspect to the construction industry, I think it would benefit. And before I wrap up, I would like to just focus on really the emotions part. That's one part of the construction industry. I think we always get empowerment. Let me bring out here you go. So remember, encouragement leads to your emotions, right? So on the outside, so empowerment, inspiration, that's something really easy to get in the construction industry. We get it every day. We get the resources we need from our leaders and bosses to do what we got to do. We have a lot of inspiration. But then think of the emotions, for example. Think about how people talk to each other in the construction industry. Think about from the perspective of a general contractor, how we treat our subcontractors. Are we actually encouraging them and having a positive impact on their emotions, or are we having a negative effect? And sometimes it happens within teams on a general contractor team as well too. How are you affecting their emotions? Because to me, it's like, I think that those are very doable things, but I think we sometimes need to focus on the emotional aspect of our work and how we treat people, because in the long run, it can have a really influential impact in helping people work with a passion, with a purpose. And that's everything. Yeah, and if you have any questions, you can ask. I have a website, you can check that out too, www.passionpurpose.life, or email me, but I'd like to open it up to any questions you have.